everyone, Josh here with Excess Games, bringing you guys another Awaken Chaos Era video, and today we got a new character that's been introduced to the game. Little bit of information. Borden, one of the actual community reps for the game, is actually in the game as well, as Borden himself, the pirate, as you may know him as. However, he also got his wife in the game now as well, and her name is Evera. We're going to go ahead and take a look at what she can do. She is a bleed master, okay? So the last new unit that we got, of course, was Marion Shadowblood, and we already talked about her and discussed her and went over her a little bit and what she can do and how she can really help that bleed comp do phenomenal things. We also made a video talking about how the bleed comp is a pretty expensive team and not something that you really want to build early on free to play. So it's a little bit of a double-edged sword here because the new unit is also a bleed-based unit, but she might be even better. No, scratch that. She is better than the new Marion Shadowblood. Now, she is also a legendary, and she's also a wood type, so she's a green element. So she will be useful in Tulpa as well because they're going to have neutral elemental, advantage, disadvantage there. It's going to be neutral, so that's good. She's going to also help Marion Shadowblood and Scarlet in that comp. But let's go ahead and take a look at what she can really do. And then we got like 10 summons or whatever we got. Maybe 20. I can't remember off the top of my head. That we'll try to do and try and pull her. Just to see if we can, maybe test her out before the beta ends. So let's go to the index here. Now, she will be in free cities alongside her hubby. The boy Borden. So here she is. Evera. Or Evera. However you want to say her name. It doesn't matter. She got an S grade in attack, which is phenomenal. That's what I want to see from a bleed DPS, because bleeds want their attack to be as high as possible, because I think they get about 15% off their max attack for a bleed tick. So that's kind of what the DOT does there, the damage over time for bleeds. It's around 15% of your max attack. So having an S grade attacker alongside your Scarlet and your Marion Shadowblood is fantastic. And then you throw in William in that team, and you're doing some crazy things. So her trait, we're going to read it at max here. Attacks on a target affected by bleeding to grant 1 rage to this character. Max 4 rage. Grants 5% lifesteal for every unit of rage. So if you have 4 rage, she's going to be doing 20% lifesteal on all of her attacks on an enemy that is already affected by bleeding. And if you're running the bleed comp, it's going to be always, pretty much. Okay? So very, very nice built-in protection there. Her health is an A grade and her defense is an A as well. So she's got very good stat distributions there for being like a DPS, but not squishy, which is awesome. Now her skill 1, it does 80% damage to an enemy with 100% chance to apply bleeding for 2 turns. When this character's rage is above 1, applies bleeding for 2 turns. So I'm assuming that means you can get 2 bleeds off with 1 skill 1 if she has more than 1 rage. And she's going to almost always have more than 1 rage because of the way her trait works, the fact that she gets, what is it? I believe her skill 2 gives her 1 as well. Let me see. Deals blah, 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 blah. And then for 1. No, I guess it doesn't. So it's just basically her trait. Every time she pops off a skill against an enemy with bleeding, she's going to get a trade or get 1 rage off, which is still fine because if you run her with a unit like William, you put her on curse set, she's going to be attacking quite often, and the way her ultimate works as well, which we're going to get into in a moment. So she doesn't get rage from her skill 1, but again, it's fine. Her skill 2 doesn't either. Deals 100% damage to an enemy and prolongs the duration of any bleeding effects, which again helps Marion. It's going to also help Scarlet with her wolf as well. All those bleeding stacks you're going to be able to throw onto an enemy are going to be extended by 1, and it's crazy. And it gets even crazier too, because when this character's rage is above 1, this ability's cooldown is reduced by an extra 2 turns. So that 3-turn cooldown becomes a 1-turn cooldown, which is absolute insanity, which means she's going to be spamming that skill 2 quite often. And again, you're going to be running her with a William for the counterattacks. You're going to be, which can also, of course, go into a joint attack with William himself, with all your bleed units. You're also going to have Marion Shadowblood going to be doing her own joint attacking to help also add more bleeds with her skill 1. And then you're also going to be having your Scarlet with her wolf, always applying a lot of bleeds. They're going to have a lot of bleeds in this team, which is absolutely crazy to think about now. insanity. And having your rage above 1 is not going to be hard to do because of what I just mentioned. With the counter attacks, with the joint attacks, with the fact that you're going to also have curse set on there with a 50% chance to attack again. So a lot of nutty things going on with this comp and with this unit in particularly. Now, the ultimate... Now, this is one thing that I always hate about rage-based units, is when they remove all their rage, there's really no way to get it back quickly or get it back in time to make use of the skills yet again. It's like you build up that rage, and then you just, you know, unload everything you have, and that's it. And then after that, your unit just goes back to being, like, just, in a way, a bit useless, or very, you know, nerfed in a way temporarily, and so you can build that back up. But usually there's not enough time to build it back up again. So you kind of, like... on auto, which is going to be a lot of, you know, these units' purpose is going to be ran on auto, like against bosses and stuff. It's going to be ineffective and inefficient because they're going to get rid of all their rage, and then they're going to go back to being just basic, and you're not going to have enough time to build up, and then they're going to die, or they're not just going to be as useful as just another unit that's better on auto. However, with the way her ultimate works, the ultimatum, which I love the name of that skill, deals, that sounds just like a wife. She's going to give you an ultimatum. You're going to do this or you get nothing. You get none of the sweets. No candy today, boy. So anyways, so she's going to deal 100% damage to all enemies plus 30% splash damage if the enemy is affected by bleeding. So on a boss, it's going to be around 120% damage, give or take. At max rage, grants a bonus turn and returns rage to 0. But that's fine. She's giving you that bonus turn after she uses her ult, so next time you do a skill again, which you will because of the bonus turn, you're going to get another rage immediately because of her trait. So there you go. And then you're just going to reset that, and with the fact that her skill 2 can be spammed because it becomes a 1-turn cooldown with rage that's 1 or higher, oh my goodness. She is the bleed master right now. She is the master of bleeding. She should be the vampiress of this game because of how well she's going to cause bleeding in this game. She is the bleeder among all bleeders. So you run her alongside the new Marion Shadowblood, which is a dark type. She's a green type. And then you also run them alongside a red type, which is Scarlet. So you got yourself a nice multicolored team. And then if you throw in a blue William, your whole team is a different color. That's awesome. So now you have a rainbow team that's going to go in and devastate the competition with a lot of bleed stacking, and it's going to be beautiful to see. This might actually now put the bleed team over the poison team as it stands right now. I'm assuming we're probably going to get more poison units after release, but as of right now, this bleed team is looking really, really juicy. Now, granted, the team is still very expensive, and it's not going to be a recommended team, again, for free-to-plays or early players. However, this unit alone can also do quite a bit of work because she's self-efficient. She has an S-grade attack, so she's going to get hit for big numbers. She's not squishy. She has an A health and A defense. So if you took her in a vacuum and put her alone, she's actually really, really solid. She might be the best bleed unit by themselves in this game. And then if you put her again with Scarlet and Marion Shadowblood, you got some crazy shenanigans going on. So that is, of course, the new unit that we just got, Evera or Evera, or you could just call her the Bleed Master, as I'm going to refer to her as. That is fantastic, and she's also a pirate. So if you guys and gals are into pirates, there you go. And she's a redheaded pirate. I mean, what's more to love, right? Okay. So now that we've talked about it, let's try and end this video with a multi-summon. We also got some new patch notes as well, just to quickly abbreviate those because there's not too much in there. The big thing that I took from that is the gold and purple glyphs drop rates have increased. I don't know by how much, but they have increased. I know a lot of people complain about that, so that's really, really good. Just want to kind of throw that into the video because it is somewhat important, especially for a lot of people out there like me farming those late game glyphs. But I digress. Let's go ahead and do 14 summons, I guess, and see what we can do. So let me go and buy a thing of 10 here. We're going to do 4 singles first. I do believe she's already in the banner. Let me just double check to make sure that they did add her. Okay, Evera right there. She's at the end. So she is in here. We have a 0.9% chance to pull a legendary and whatever the percentages break down amongst those units to pull her. So I don't have any ambition of us pulling this today, But, you know, we haven't done any summons on the channel in a while, so let's go ahead and do it. We're starting off with my boy Malago, who is very underrated. He could be utilized in PvP, and we pulled him twice. Okay, I don't love you that much, Malago. I really don't. Okay, Tuzago. Alright, so our single summons were, you know, dog poop. Let's go ahead and do a multi. Hopefully, I can't remember if my last multi was an epic or better or not. Okay, no legendary. So we're not going to pull her today. Unfortunately, we got a Celestial Cane. I think that's my second or third one I've pulled on this account. But I've already fed him in because I've been building up specific units, trying to, you know, get you guys some testing done with units that I know I'll be able to finish before the beta ends. But that's going to be it for me, guys. Hope you guys all enjoyed my breakdown for the new Evera. She's a very solid unit. She is by far right now the best bleed unit in the game, stat-wise, skill-wise, and she's going to fit right into that team just like a glove, and it's going to be fantastic. So, if we get these units as is right now at release, you know, mid to end game, and you're able to be in that position to build a bleed team, I think it's going to do very, very well. Sadly, I didn't get to test out the new Evera. I would love to have tested it out before the beta ends. So we'll have to see if I get lucky on some summons off camera, you know, over the course of the next week or so. But we'll see. Anyways, hope you guys all enjoy. Don't forget to subscribe, take notifications, and join us in the Discord in the description below. Until next time, as always. Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at XSPlays, all one word. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.